It's the first time that you guys will have met Falkirk in the top flight since May 2010. What have you made of their journey and what are you expecting from them?
I think it's fantastic. Obviously followed them coming up through the divisions. I've always thought of them as a big club. When you go to the stadium and how they treat you, and they've got a very, very good manager in John. Obviously he's been nominated for Manager of the Year the last few years, deservedly so. And that just speaks volumes of the club. It's a club on the rise. I believe he set St Mirren with a model that he needed to sort of aspire to as well, and I see the similarities between the two clubs. So yeah, it's fantastic to have them back again. I think all our fans are looking forward to a nice away day as well. They get excited when they haven't been places for a while. So hopefully we can make it a good day for them.
Yeah, I think you said that you guys were the kind of benchmark, given how well that you've done coming into the league, stabilising and getting up to top six, etc. How nice is it to hear that what you're trying to do here, what you have done here, is appreciated by other clubs and other managers?
No, certainly, and it's not certainly just me that John was aiming that says the club as a whole. It's grown massively over the last 3.5 years. I think the similarities are, we're some of the smaller clubs in the division, but there is still a chance to be relatively successful and build on what a good structure that was already there and keep trying to progress it. So yeah, I'm sure people will look to St Mirren and to the board and the setup that we've got with the training ground, that it is achievable and it is sustainable.
How was the break for you? Did you kind of balance it with giving the lads that were here some time off? Did you do some training, work on things?
Yeah, we were in early on in the week. We had a little bit of fun with a paddle day as well, so we got a little bit of camaraderie, which Keanu Backus was the main man and the master at that. So, but that was good. And then we've worked really hard this week again. Obviously, with the international boys not back until today, it does become a little bit broken. But today we work on a lot of our tactical stuff. But it's been a good week, a rest for the boys that needed it, and work for some of the boys that needed a bit extra.
So you're hoping that paddle will bring you closer together and be the winner?
I think it might have brought us further apart. There was a few rows and people not happy with decisions, and McMenamin was the umpire, so he was getting a bit of stick as well. So no, it's good. It's good sometimes just to get away from the constant pressure of football. They're young boys as well. They're big kids really, so they like a little bit of fun, and we enjoyed ourselves. We had a weekend off and we've come back and worked hard again.
Everyone come back okay from international duty, and what's your team news for this weekend?
Yeah, well, Conor McMenamin and Liam Donnelly are both training again. They've taken part in some of the sessions. Whether this weekend's a little bit too early, we'll look to see. I'm still assessing the international boys, so Killian Phillips and Richard King. Kingy, who played 2 games and really forcing my hand with things at the minute with his performance, but with all the travel after the Jamaican games, not getting back until late yesterday, it sort of makes it difficult, the decision a little bit easier, but he'll be assessed today in terms of injuries, and so will Killian Phillips.
And Dan, is it Lundulu?
Dan Lundulu, yeah.
Is he kind of fit to come in? Is he?
Yep, he is. Yeah,
time to settle into things.
He's been very, very good since he came up. We've worked him hard. He's been a little bit taken by, I think, the intensity of the sessions for the first 3 days. He trained with the younger boys for a couple of days as well. So we see really good attributes in Dan. As I said, I alluded to it when I signed him. He's a typical St Mirren signing. He's got bundles of talent. He's quick, he's strong, technically very, very good. Who's lost his way a little bit, and we need to put an arm around him. We need to give him that confidence, because I believe there's a real player in there. He's buying into it. If he continues to do that, then I think he'll be a very good signing.
It's the first time we've spoken to you since the transfer window closed. You're happy with the overall business of the summer?
Yeah, we knew we had to move people on in terms of budget-wise to try and bring somebody in, and the board supported that. And they supported that before we were able to move them all on, so that's credit to the board as well, that they do that and they have faith in what we're doing. But no, I feel like we've got competition in every position now. When I've got a Jamaican international sitting on the bench, and I've got, you look at the strength and depth we have now to come on in forward areas and midfield areas and at wing back areas, then I believe with what we have available to us, we've put the best possible squad together.
In terms of the league table, just 3 points, but with some really good performances. Do you think that the league table might be kidding a few people on? You should be higher up, or is it too early to even be looking at that?
I don't think you look at the league table until there's 10 games. Our start has been against the top 3 from last season, against a Hearts side that have been heavily invested in, that we beat in the cup. So it's for me, it's been a very good start. It could have been better. Our performances perhaps warranted better. But there again, we could have lost in the last minute away at Hibs as well. So you look at overall and you think, yeah, it's been a good start. I believe tomorrow is a big game for us. It's a big week. We've got the quarter-final of the cup, and we've got a game that we can, I believe, get points out of if we play to the best of our ability. So all of a sudden you win, and it's an incredible start. You lose, and it's a worry. But it's never. It's just 3 points against Falkirk, or 1 point or no points, and you deal with that on a daily basis, and you put it all into perspective. And what happens in the first few games, maybe isn't that important. It's overall over a season, how you cope with that, how you manage with the disappointments and the highs. And after a hard start, I believe we're sitting in a relatively good point in the season, in a good position.
I believe it's your 400th game as a manager. Do you know if that's correct?
I've no idea. No idea.
We think it is, right?
Yeah.
So, what does that mean to you? When you start out in management, do you ever think you get to 400 games? What's the highlight for you as well?
I didn't even want to be in management. I meant to just go to America and coach in the sunshine. I'm not sure how this ended up like this. No, I didn't. I took my coaching badges with Northern Ireland. Actually moved to America and coach in America in the sunshine. So it transpired that Michael O'Neill's probably to blame for it, really. I ended up working with Michael with the junior international squads in Northern Ireland, and then into the senior international squads, and then obviously from there you get the little bug for it, and I've been lucky enough to stay in management ever since. So it's testament to the players and the staff that I've worked with that I've been able to get that. That surprised me. I didn't know I had that many games, so I must still be enjoying it if I'm not counting them and counting the hours down until I finish it. So yeah, that's it. In the game as it is today, with the cutthroat nature of it, then I suppose I'll take that as a compliment. I've managed to get to 400 games.
You got another 400, didn't you?
I don't know about that. I don't know if I've got another 4 in me the way it is these days. If you lose 4 games, you might not have a job. But yeah, look, while I'm still enjoying it and have the same enthusiasm for the job, then of course, then we'll see how far we can go with it and how far it takes us.
Stephen, touching back on what you were saying about John McGlynn when you said the bit St Mirren is the benchmark, do you think it's difficult for people to realise how hard that is for a club like St Mirren to not only sustain in the top flight but thrive as well? Yeah, and
I think that's what John's alluding to. We are a fan-owned club, we haven't got millions of pounds, which everybody knows, and it's about structures and time and patience, and the fan base understand that as well. I believe that Falkirk, and that's what John's as I say alluding to, is in terms of the benchmark of a smaller club that can be successful, that can build, can get youth players into the setup, but also that, as you say, it's difficult. There's difficult times and difficult moments within that, and it's about everybody pulling in the same direction. It's about pushing everybody forward, about constantly not resting on your laurels. We have to increase our budget every single year just to be at the bottom group of the table. And then you're looking for an overachievement in your recruitment, with your younger kids, with your academy, and with your staffing and your appointments. So it's it's a compliment, a massive compliment, obviously from someone that's been in the game as long as John and been successful. But it's certainly one that we take with pride, that people look and say, that's a. And they're not just talking about the first team, they're certainly not just talking about me, they're talking about the overall structure of the football club and where it is and where it's trying to get to and maintain.
We know how under pressure managers are, so I suppose to carry out what you're talking about, you need, like you say, the club pulling in the same direction, a strong board and strong people around you as well to keep you going. Yeah,
you have to sometimes ignore the noise from the outside, and to do that is difficult. It's easy for me because I'm wrapped in a little bubble in here in the training ground. I go home and walk my dogs with my wife and don't see anything or hear anything. But it's more difficult for boards and chairmen, and they're the ones that, they're in amongst fans. We're a fan-owned football club, and they get the opinions of fans, sometimes rightly, sometimes wrongly, and they have to stay strong. And and I've said it before, in any other business, you appoint someone you really believe in, and you've got a business plan and you stick to it, and a bad month doesn't change that. And that's what the board have done here. And the more people do that, I think over time it's been proven, when you stick by people and you really believe in the people that you're working with and pull in the same direction, it leads to success. But football's different than every other industry, unfortunately.